PlayStation Portal has been out for a little while now, and we're going to do our complete breakdown of our hands-on impressions of the PlayStation Portal. Hello and welcome back to Gears and Tech. As you already heard, the PlayStation Portal has been out for a little while now, and we've had a chance to actually play it, use it, try it in a bunch of different scenarios, and we can provide an actual real hands-on impression. So we've already done an unboxing. I've already shown you all of the great features of the PlayStation Portal, but now it's time to actually get into the nitty-gritty. What is it like using a PlayStation Portal day to day? What is it like to take out on the go? How does it actually function? And what are some of the other options when you want to use remote play but maybe don't want to spend the money on a PlayStation Portal? That's all going to be covered in this video. Let's start out by talking about the hole that the PlayStation Portal is looking to fill. So a lot of people have questioned, what is the purpose of the PlayStation Portal? Now the PlayStation Portal, in my opinion, is geared at guys like me, somebody who has other commitments in life. It is not geared for the college student who's able to just block out the world, sit in front of a TV and play their PlayStation endlessly with no other commitments to worry about. So someone like myself though, for example, we've got kids, we've got multiple obligations, we've got a house we've got to look after, I've got a relationship that I need to maintain, and getting away to the basement where the TV is and sit down and play games on and on and on kind of requires me to remove myself from the environment around me. Having a device like the PlayStation Portal allows me to sit up on the couch and be there, be around, be present for what's going on around me while still kind of moving in and out from my game to what's going on and back to my game again. It provides a more casual environment where I can use something that is purposely built for my PlayStation 5 to give me the best experience. Which brings me to the next point, the best experience. A lot of people have said, what's the difference between the Portal and using something like this? This is the Gamesir controller adapter that you just connect your cell phone to and then play your games that way. I mean, that works, right? Before we get too far into this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel down below. If you've seen some of our content already and have not subscribed, we want you to join our community. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and let's get back to the video. Others have said, well, what about using your computer or using an iPad with a DualSense controller? All of those actually work just fine. We have a totally separate video that goes in depth the reasons why you may or may not want to use that solution. But for me, having it in a PlayStation dedicated package or form factor actually had a significant advantage over those other options. Now, as I said, we will go over that in the other video, but for me, having it in this one package was the best solution. If you want to know how I arrived at that conclusion, you'll have to check out that other video. But just know that yes, there are other options, and if those are working fine for you, then continue using them. You don't need to spend the $200 for this device if that's already filling your needs. But obviously, there is still a need, and that's marked by the huge demand of the PlayStation Portal. So just like the PlayStation 5 launch, scalpers have gotten their hands on the PlayStation Portal and have marked the price up at least double. Are they actually selling for double? I'm not totally sure. Just like the PlayStation 5s, they were listed for double, but I don't know if they actually sold for double at the time. But there is strong demand for this device, which means there's a lot more people like me out there that think that this is a valuable unit. Looking at the unit itself, we can talk about the features of it. Now we've got an 8-inch LCD display. Some people might complain it's not an IPS display, but everybody who's put their hands on this that I know has looked at it and said, wow, this screen is actually really impressive. So even though it's not an IPS, it's a very impressive screen, and you will soon forget that it's not an IPS and it won't really bother you that much. Next are the controls. You know, it's quite simply put, it's a DualSense controller that's been split in half with a screen put in the middle. That's not unique when it's just kind of a DualSense controller, but the fact that it retains all of the functionality of the DualSense controller was a game changer for me. That means playing your, what I like to call experiential games. Those are your RPGs, those are your adventure games. Those are the games that fully utilize the functionality of the DualSense, the haptic feedback, the adaptive triggers. That's all in here. So you get the full experience in this neat little mobile handheld. Now there are some downsides, and I will talk about those. So number one, this does not support Bluetooth audio. If you want to use audio through your headphones, you either have to buy super expensive PlayStation headphones that use the PS Link proprietary system that Sony's trying to push out, and those headphones are very, very expensive. So your other option is to plug in an old 3.5mm headset, which any headset will work. You can use earbuds, over the ear style, you can use whatever you want, but it does seem like kind of a step backwards when a lot of people are using Bluetooth. One question you may have is, can I use headphones such as the Steel series that have a USB-C dongle that then communicates over the 2.4 gigahertz protocol? The answer is no. I actually tested it, I plugged it into this, and I tried to get it to work. It just doesn't work. It does not support that at all. So your only two options currently are PlayStation Link headphones or wired. That's it. And you're gonna actually want to use headphones because the speakers on here are very tinny sounding. So they're forward firing. If I show you guys right here, the speakers are right here and right here. So while you're holding it in your hand, the sound's being projected forward. So it's not the best scenario for audio. You can hear what you're doing, but it's not really a true stereo sound, and it's not a very deep or immersive sound, but you can get sound. Obviously, getting some headphones into your ears, best experience that you can get while you're playing those experiential games. Moving on to the battery life, you're gonna get close to 5 hours of battery life depending on the game that you're playing. Now, if you're playing a game that uses a lot of the haptic feedback, it's gonna drain that battery a little bit faster. So be prepared for that, but on average games, average gaming sessions, you should be able to get close to 5 hours before you need to charge your PlayStation Portal. The overall fit and finish is actually very impressive. The one surprising thing is these analog sticks. Now, they are not true sized analog sticks that you would be used to with your PlayStation 5 DualSense controller. They're actually the analog sticks from the PlayStation VR controller. So they're smaller, which becomes a problem for me. So initially this felt really, really good in my hands, but I'm going to demonstrate how, like, my hands aren't that big. So for example, here are my hands on a PlayStation 5 controller. They just fit. They're not massive, they're kind of fat and chubby, but my fingers aren't overly long. When I put the PlayStation Portal in my hand, my thumbs end up hitting right here on the ball of my thumbs rather than my tips. So for me to hit the buttons up here, I can get those just fine. But if I want to use the analog sticks, I find I'm using the ball of my thumbs to move around rather than the tips. And that's just because, and this was the same problem I had with the PSVR, I have to get this weird arc on my thumb here to be able to use it like this. And my thumb just doesn't want to bend like that. And the other one doesn't really either. But to get the triggers up here, you have to have your hands kind of forward on the controller. So for me, I end up going like this. Now that's weird for somebody who uses the tips of their thumbs when they're playing on their actual PlayStation 5. But overall, the feel in your hands is actually pretty good. I don't have a lot of major concerns, but I do have concerns about accessibility of some of the buttons. Some other buttons that come to mind, the volume button, which is up on top, you have to really reach around to push it, and I find that like it's way up here. You're not gonna reach that. So I end up having to go like this. Whenever I was trying to turn the volume down, because the significant other is saying, turn that down, it's so loud, I end up pushing the volume up, way more than I find the volume down. It just seems way over farther than you would think that it should be. But I mean, that's a small complaint really in the grand scheme of things. Now the next thing we should talk about is the connection. So this is a Wi-Fi connected device, means it needs Wi-Fi all the time to work. You have to have a PlayStation 5, it has to be on, and then this connects to that device. That doesn't mean you're limited strictly to your house though, because there's Wi-Fi available in a lot of places. You can even use your cell phone as a Wi-Fi hotspot and support the game that way. Now, one thing I will note is in testing with my phone as a Wi-Fi hotspot, I did notice it was significantly dropping the resolution of the game and or the frame rate in order to keep up. But that's a con as well as a pro. You see, the device favors a strong experience. And by strong experience, I mean they want to keep the frame rate up, they want to keep the glitchiness down. So in order to do that, it's a small screen. You're not going to get a 4K resolution on a small screen and really notice a difference. So even though it's dropping resolution, you're not going to notice a lot, and the frame rate stays up. So it has dynamically adjustable resolution and dynamically adjustable frame rate in order to match whatever your Wi-Fi connection is. And that's why guys can go to McDonald's and use the wireless at McDonald's or at their favorite Starbucks, coffee shop, library, wherever, and still have a really seamless experience. There is a small caveat to that, and I explained that in my PlayStation Portal connection video, which you'll want to check out if you're experiencing any kind of connectivity issues, or you want to know in depth what it takes to get your connectivity really, really solid on the PlayStation Portal. That's already out, or it's coming soon, depending on when you're watching this video, but lots of great information in that video as well. Now, what kind of games are you playing on your Portal? And this kind of ties in with that connectivity piece. You see, even with the strongest, best connection possible, I did experience some slowdowns and I did experience some lag in what was happening on the screen and what I was controlling for inputs. Because of that, I would strongly recommend that this is not for a competitive gamer. If you're playing first-person shooters and you need that competitive advantage, you will not have the competitive advantage with this device. Now, I know there's a lot of guys on the internet saying, you can't tell that there's any lag. You can't until you're in the middle of a firefight and you need to get a headshot and you can't quite lock on. Then you realize, actually, there is a little bit of lag. And there is. So just expect it. Even the best connections you can get are gonna have a bit of lag. So that opens the door for a lot of those, what I'm calling those experiential games. Really, you're playing against bots and NPCs. It's not as critical, and you get a lot of second chances to make that headshot in like Far Cry or something like that. But your RPGs, your turn-based RPGs, your adventure games, your dungeon crawlers, all of those absolutely suited for this. And that's why I bought it. See, a lot of those games I've wanted to play, but I haven't had the time to lock myself in the basement and play them. So this allows me to play those games on the couch where I can come and go and get that experience with the full experience. I really wanted the dual sense experience. I didn't want to just play the game, I wanted to experience the game. And this device lets you experience those games exactly the way the developer intended, whether you're on your couch, out on the train, at work on your lunch break, or on the go somewhere, or sitting on the couch at home. And the final question that you guys are all probably wondering, is the PlayStation Portal worth it? Now, we did talk about it having about a $200 price tag, but for me, the price is actually worth it. So I'm not gonna tell you to go and buy it because I don't get paid whether you buy it or not. So I'm gonna tell you, based on my experience, based on using other devices, based on trying different connection techniques, this is the best experience that you can have if you can't be at your TV on your PlayStation 5. All the other remote play options are okay. And if you're satisfied with those, then stick with those. Save your $200 and don't worry about it. But if you're looking for a really great experience in a small package, this is it. Now, I would say wait until the scalpers have lost all their inventory or decided that they're not going to make enough money because more supplies are on the way. And since you stayed for the end of this video, let's talk about my top secret thoughts about the PlayStation Portal. You see, it requires an internet connection. I believe that at some point Sony is going to unlock an eSIM capability on the PlayStation Portal. So right now I'm saying if you're on the go, you need your cell phone to create a wireless hotspot. I think Sony's gonna work out a partnership with major carriers across North America to where you can get for like $10 a month, get a 5G connection to have the best experience on your PlayStation Portal while you're still on the go. And that's coming. I believe that's coming, and that will open up a lot more doors for a lot of people because an unlimited online connection, keep in mind there's no browser on here, so it's very easy to commit to gaming only data being broadcast across the portal, so the carriers have a little bit more confidence that they're not circumventing their cell phone functionality with a device such as this. I think that's coming. And then I think there's a second part that's coming, and that will be PlayStation 5 lists, no PlayStation 5 needed, streaming to your PlayStation Portal. So they already can stream PlayStation games to your PlayStation 5 through your PlayStation Plus account. And if you have a PlayStation Plus account and do not have a PlayStation 5, I think that they'll start streaming games direct from their servers to the PlayStation Portal once they unlock that wireless carrier eSIM option, so that this becomes a true handheld that is not actually tethered to your PlayStation 5 anymore. So I think those two things are coming. It's just supply right now, so we're in the early adopters phase. That's where the guys who like it, like me, are gonna just go and buy it regardless. Once we get past that point and they're looking for reasons to convince other regular consumers to buy one of these devices, they're gonna unlock that functionality and it's going to become awesome. Right now it's pretty good, but it's gonna become even more awesome. So I would not have any reservations in purchasing this myself again, based on what I've experienced so far. Keep in mind, there are some downsides. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. Hey, thanks for watching all the way to the end of this video. We hope you enjoy the content in this video, and we'd love to have you come back. Consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And for those subscribers who are looking for that extra special thing that you can do to support this channel, consider joining our members group. That's where we're building this community, the Gears and Tech community, where we can all enjoy content together. You'll get special perks, which we'd love for you to check out by clicking the link down below. For those of you who are just happy to watch the video, that's okay too. You can check out some of our other content right over here, where we've got some previous videos that have already been uploaded and enjoyed by many of our viewers already. We do hope to see you again. This has been Gears and Tech. Have a great day.